I'd like to show you an artifact from the time that Jesus was around. This is a widow's mite. It's a tiny coin that was used during the time of Jesus. And here you can see a sun image and a tiny anchor image here that is on the coin. And this is from around the time of Jesus. I show you this because it figures very prominently in one of the stories in the Gospels. Um, in Luke chapter 21, Jesus is at the temple, and he and his disciples are in an area of the temple known as the Court of Women. And around this area are all kinds of receptacles for offering, for monetary offerings, and they look like an upside down trumpet with a hole in the top, and it kind of goes down to a wide base with a sort of large bowl underneath that collects all of the money that they receive. And there's several different receptacles for several different types of offerings that can be given. So Jesus and his disciples are there in that part of the temple, and Jesus is paying attention to what's going on around him. And he says, Jesus looked up, he saw a rich man putting their gifts into the temple treasury. Now, a rich person would have a lot of coins. And when they would pour them into these receptacles, they would make a lot of noise. And it was one of the ways that wealthy people got a lot of credit for their giving. Even if they tried to just go in and, pour it in, it would make a huge sound, and everybody's watching as they're like, oh gosh, God has blessed me so much. I mean, look, this is taking forever to get all of these coins into the, right? So there's a wealthy man giving a lot of money, making a lot of noise. There's sort of like almost like a bell, a clinking sound that would happen in these receptacles. And then it says, verse 2, he also saw a poor widow put in 2 very small coins. These are the kinds of coins these widow mite, these tiny coins, are the kinds of coins that are being talked about here. And you can imagine with an opening about this large, dropping in 2 of these coins would make no noise, would not be impressive, would not cause a commotion, and would ultimately be unnoticed by probably everybody in the court of the women in the temple at that point. Jesus says all of these people gave their gifts out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in all she had to live on. As we give back, as we serve the world with our resources, our money, our time, this coin gives us a lot to reflect on. Some of us have the ability to do big things. We have the time, we have the energy, we have the financial or physical resources to accomplish big, impressive things, things that would give us a lot of credit. And then there are those of us who do not have those resources, that we cannot do the big thing. And to be honest, throughout our lives, we move into and out of that, right? We have times, seasons where we have more and where we have less. And so there's something to be said to both of those states of life. If you're in a place where you don't have a lot, you don't have a lot of time, you don't have a lot of money, You don't have a lot of any of it. Jesus says, that's fine. God wants to use you and your small coins to do great things in the work of God in the world. It's not about how big the coin is that you get to put in the offering. It's not about how many hours you can give in service. It's about having a life that has courage and compassion, and a life that is used for something bigger than yourself. This also has something to say to those of us who are in a time where we have a lot. We need to be very careful, suspicious even, of the adulation we receive for the big things that we do. Because God is not impressed by how big our accomplishment is. God doesn't give us spiritual credit based on how amazing our number of hours or amount of giving is. God asks us all to sacrifice, to work for the kingdom in a way that takes something from us that we would have given to ourselves. Some time, some energy, some effort, some money. That's what God is asking. And it's very easy if you have a lot of those things, a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of ability, a lot of money, to sort of coast, do what is easy, and receive a lot of thanks and praise. Jesus' words, where he doesn't praise the rich person, he praises this poor person because the poor person gave sacrificially. It's a word of caution to those of us who have a lot. To be careful that the praise that we get from other people doesn't cause us to live life easy in doing God's work in the world. But instead, to stretch, to reach, and to work hard with all that we have. So this week, may you find a way to stretch. May you be like the widow, giving all that you have to the service of God, and not being distracted like the wealthy who are getting credit for just giving what is extra.